Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. Let's get to it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So don't forget to sign up to the Radiant Reality Facebook, or should I say the Radiant Nation Facebook group. I know, only old people use Facebook, but guess what? I'm old, bitch, so whatever. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you all on your paths to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week, over the course of this week, you have, ooh, you see your jumping card there? It is the Hanged Man, right? So the message behind this card, whenever it shows up as a key to the week, it basically says there are likely to be some delays or potentially some kind of something is put into stasis or suspension. That's one way that this could show up. Another way that it potentially shows up is that you don't have all of the facts or you're not seeing something as clearly as you possibly could. And then finally, last but not least, this is a card to basically say to you in all of these different areas of your life where you meet something that seems like an immovable object, instead of trying to budget and budget and move it out of the way, what I should have said, you know, stop, don't do that. Take a moment, take a breath, take a rest, take a beat and ask yourself, why am I being slowed down here? What is it that I'm actually being too hasty about when it comes to this area of my life or this thing that I'm trying to move forward? For your actions and options, you've got the Judgment card. So a lot of you are in the process of making huge sweeping changes. Now, coupled with the Hanged Man card, this basically says, for some of you, you appear to be chasing an old high. All right, so it's like, well, I did this before and I got this result. And it's like you're chasing that same result from the actions that you're taking at the moment. This might actually be very unconscious for a lot of you. It might not necessarily be that you're doing this consciously, but you know, it's very possible. And so when it comes to your actions, the things that you're doing to make huge sweeping changes in your life, just acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, you're not getting the same result because you're supposed to get one that's better. And rather than opening up to that and accepting that, you're kind of trying to force the universe's hand into what you want it to be. Now, the other thing with the Judgment card, so that's the blast from the past energy, but the other card, meaning of this card is profound change. It's a clearing of the decks. So in terms of the options that are available to you now, it really is a chance for renewal and regrowth this week. But, you know, the choice basically is yours. Are you going to stick with old habits and patterns because they're familiar and you happen to be the most stubborn of the fixed signs? Or are you going to take it on the chin and go in a different direction? The choice really is yours. It's completely up to you. Life is showing you something here this week and it's really up to you what you're going to do with it. So when it comes to your communications and conversations, you have the High Priestess. This is a lot of water, right? There's a lot of water here. So the Hanged Man, Neptune, Judgment, Pluto, the High Priestess, Cancer. That's all three of the water signs have shown up for you in some guys. And the reason I say that is because the Neptune energy is Pisces and the Judgment card is Pluto, which is Scorpio. So in some way, shape or form, you have all three of the water elements have shown up for you here out of the first three cards that you have. This means that this week is going to have a very emotional element to it. And anytime that you can feel things are not going your way or you're feeling fractious or anxious, etc., check in with your emotions because that's what's going to give you a real clear sort of nod to say, okay, I'm generating this from inside, right? It's an inside job, as they say. Now, in terms of communications, the High Priestess suggests that this week you're going to be trusted with secrets. Now, as Taurians, you tend not to enjoy or to like drama, but I am going to say whatever is shared with you this week, it will be shared with you in confidence. If you override that and you go and you start blabbing whatever somebody has told you in confidence, the chances are when it comes back to nip you in the butt, it probably will bite very hard. So just be very, very cautious about, you know, if somebody's going to tell you something and you think, oh, I don't know, I'm going to be able to hold on to this. Just say to them, you know what, I'd rather you didn't tell me because I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean? Just be mindful of that. Another way this potentially shows up is you are the one that is divulging secrets, or you're finally sharing something that you're ready to bring out into the world. So this connection here always speaks to the maternal lineage. So for those of you that are into things like ancestor practice and worship, etc., your ancestors definitely have a message to you, for you, that they're trying to get across to you. And this might be a week for you to really sit with them, right? To listen to what they may have to share with you. Another way this potentially shows up as well is your maternal or your familial heritage through your mother comes up in some way, shape or form. Now this will come in the form of your mother, your grandmother, or, you know, those kinds of energies. Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, the High Priestess with the Hanged Man, this could be that you're ready to stop being a dark horse and let people know that you're intelligent, or let them know that you read ahead, or let them see some aspect of you that you haven't before. For those, the other thing is as well, for both those of you that are employed and for those of you that are studying, some kind of intuitive sort of knowledge, message, realization hits you this week, and it's likely to change your outlook on your job, your work, your boss, etc. And it's also going to highlight to people that you are a lot faster than they give you credit for. You know, this whole thing about like, be a dark horse, don't let people know what you're doing, or that you're smart until, you know, until they absolutely have to know. It has its merits, but we're not in freaking high school anymore, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've checked my demographic. I don't have anybody really that's under 20, you know, and really, even then, those are like minuscule numbers. Most of my subscribership is 25 to 55. That's like the big bracket that I serve. So, you know, get out of the school tactics and start owning and claiming your space. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this could be some powerful spiritual or even intuitive realization. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you have some really insightful or powerful dreams this week that really help you understand or put your business in its right place and space. And also for those of you that are pushing with something really hard and haven't had the results that you want, you're going to get an intuitive hit as to why you're not getting those results. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, it looks like there's a conversation around money that needs to be had this week. And it may be a very emotional one. For those of you, when it comes to your love and relations, you've got the Six of Pentacles. So this is about give and take, and it's also about the financial or the give and take. Look at that, right? I didn't even know what the card was, and I'd already said to you, right, financial give and take. So when it comes to those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, especially those of you that are retired, this could be a significant other. It could just as easily be maybe one of your kids, maybe a family member who's been relying on you financially and is, you know, now it's kind of time for them to stand on their own 2 feet. There might be a tough conversation that needs to be had around finance this week, and that card absolutely backs it up for me. When it comes to those of you that are single and looking, it's likely to be that where you are playing a supportive role or a volunteering role, etc., of anything that you're doing that is kind of self-sacrificing, hanged man energy, anything that you're doing to volunteer, where you're, you know, offering your time or your expertise or whatever, it's like you're doing something this week that is not about you. You're doing it just because it feels good to give, or to whatever the case might be. And it's going to be in that space or in that arena that you end up meeting somebody. Now, I gotta say, this person may be, you know, one of the people that you're trying to help. But so what? Who cares, right? If you forge a bond, you forge a bond. For your woe. Okay, all right, so look at that. For your money and materials, you've got the Death card. You've got this opposite the Six of Pentacles. This is a break financially away from something or someone that isn't serving you. This is you cutting the purse strings to something or someone that has acted, you know, or someone that is not really feeding or nourishing you in some way, shape or form, and you releasing or letting that go. And I actually think that's very healthy. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your reproductive system, and because you've got so much water here and you've also got the Hanged Man, I am going to say for those of you know, if you're sexually active and you have unknown or multiple partners this week, really do protect yourself if you catch what I'm drifting. I would really be very, very conscious about your sexual health this week. I would also say as well, when it comes to physical health and vitality, because you've got a few markers here, I would be very conscious of your throat and your throat, your thyroid, etc. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. I can only tell you where to look. Sometimes, you know, tarot gets really, really specific, and it's really great like that. And, you know, I find those things really exciting, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. Defer to them before you take this on board. But if you have something come up, check your thyroid, check your throat. If you've got anything going on, any health issues or ailments, etc., check your endocrine system as well, your hormone balance. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, look, I gotta be really honest, this set of cards speaks very, very loudly. Now, if you've been with me long enough, if you're one of my ride or dies, you know I talk about everything. Now, there's a few ways this could show up. One, some of you could be seeing a medium and you could be bringing that person to your home to do a reading. That's one way this could show up. Another way this could potentially show up is the death of a woman in your life who happens to be on the mother's side of the family and happens to be, you know, old bones. This would be grandmother, sort of at the very youngest, great aunt or parent who is elderly. If it's going to be a passing of someone this week, it will be someone who has reached a very good ripe old age. All right. I really hope I'm wrong on that front, but this would be a great. And when I say a medium, I'm not talking about someone who, you know, does whatever and every so often gets a message from beyond the grave. I'm talking about someone who is a working, proven, actual, does this for their job medium. All right, if you want to go for a psychic reading this week, the best kind of answers that you can get will come specifically from a medium. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.